Hiya, this is Susan at Dog in a Deer Stalker Designs. A while ago on Tracy Fox's group I posted that I'd made some little tickets and somebody said had I done a tutorial, and I said no, and then I thought I could just do this as like a little show and tell. I'm not going to say it's a tutorial, but that's what it is. I've made some this afternoon and I've lost them, so delayed reaction in seeing what I'm actually making. Sorry about that. Oh, do you know, the last 2 or 3 weeks all I've had is like migraine after migraine after migraine, and my brain's just broken. It's just broken. That's all there is to it. Here are the tickets I made today. I'm gonna try, let's just see, we can, there's that one, just got a little row of them there. So that's what I've made today, and that's what I'm going to show you how I make. What am I doing? Oh yeah, first of all, I have basically taken all of my little cute little stampy things are from Graphics Fairy. I think this was something like old maps or European maps. It's called something like that. And basically I printed off a map of Europe onto an A4 sheet of paper and then cut it into strips of 1 inch by 1 inch strips, and then I've scored it at every 2 inches and then formed it into a little concertina. I've done that beforehand because it's all a bit faffy, and then basically to get the little holes out I use my Crop-A-Dile, and I do this by hand. I'm sure somebody is going to tell me if there's a better way. I saw this on, I think Artie Mays maybe does it this way or similar. I'm sure she's done a tutorial of this quite recently. You've basically just got to take a little knob out, not too much, and then the other side. Try and line it all up so all of your edges are all there. Excuse me if my head's in shot, but I kind of have to look through the little hole. And line up all of the bits on that corner. Sorry if I'm wobbling out of shot. You know that's my favourite pastime. And then hopefully when you pull it out you get something vaguely decent. If you've got a bit where it's gone a bit small, you can tidy them up. If they go a bit big, I just stick something over it so that it's not really noticeable. I've got to be honest, I just think, you know what, life's too short to stress too much. And I'm sure there are fabulous dyes that you can get that do that job, but I haven't got one. So that's how I do my tickets. So as I said, 1 inch strips folded into 2 inch segments. Now at the minute I am absolutely in love with these sprays that I have made. These are made from this pearlescent powder. It's called, let's just check it's in frame, Prism Pearlescent Powder by Hunky Dory. Hunky Dory are like a British craft company. And this stuff, you just put a little bit in a spray bottle, probably less than 1/4 teaspoon, I mean not very much, into a little spray bottle with some water, top it up with water, and you shake them up before you use it because all of the lovely stuff sticks to the bottom, so you have to shake them. But I just think they're great. I love them. I really love them. I've used them no end lately, and I think they're fab. So I'm going to do this quickly. I've got one that I have done earlier so that you don't have to see me sort of drying all of this stuff, because you know, I'm not very I've not really learned how to do videos properly yet, if I'm honest. So I literally give them a bit of a spray. My little squares, I'm using on these, this is Glistering Gold and Sepia Splendor. I'm going to put a bit more on those. And they come out just really nicely. Right, I'm going to wish this away. Whoosh, whoosh. Did you see the whoosh? Off it went. Yeah, they come out. I've inked these too. I'm going to see if I hold this up. Excuse me, I'm going to get up and down. So this is how they come out, and I don't know whether you can tell if I just sort of tilt them. Maybe not, but they've got a lovely shimmer to them. They just come out really nicely. I've also inked this with, I always ink with Antique Linen Distress ink. That's my favourite. It's not too dark, and I've done the same with my little stamps. Now these little stamps, again from the Graphics Fairy, same collection as the map. They do what they call domino tiles. Here is one I've cut out actually, a little domino tile, and they also do little squares. I basically printed this off, let a little bit of a white border around them, and then cut them with these Fiskars postal scissors, which basically, God, for somebody who does paper crafts, you'd think I'd be good at finding a bit of paper. They do what they say on the tin. They basically do a nice stamp cut. So really simple. They're just made out of those. The little domino tile ones, I don't know if you can see, but they fit really well on these little tickets. You could absolutely, if you wanted to, make tickets out of plain paper or a pattern paper, trim these slightly smaller, and just have them as a kind of base for one of these tickets. That'd be brilliant. I should say that the stuff I'm using is all on the paid version of Graphics Fairy. But if you do a lot of crafting, it's a really good site to have, I think. I have had it for a couple of months and just used it so much. So I'm going to put a bit of lace on here. Now this is just tea-dyed lace, and I don't know whether I don't know how much I really want to cover these. I might just do little squares. See, that's quite pretty, and it does take up a lot of room. I might just take some chunks off this, you know. Let's see if we can make that vaguely more square than it was. I might just take some chunks off. the other ones I did, I just got a bit of lace and just basically stuck it over the whole lot, but that was a bit of a thinner strip, and I can't find anything as thin as that. Glue, right, because everybody's been talking about glue. This is the glue I use, Collall all-purpose glue. It's a solvent-based glue, just the same as Fabri-Tac and 3-in-1. I buy it in massive bottles, but keep my smaller bottles to decant into. And then I even, oh God, if you can see my t-shirt, I apologise, it's grubby. It's my crafting t-shirt, so it's got all manner of nasty stains on it. Then I decant this into smaller little fine tip bowls. It's a bit difficult to use in these, I have to say. If you've got arthritis or problems with your hands, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I just find it means that I use far less, which, you know, glue is a pretty big expense, I think, if you're junk journaling. You know, a lot of your supplies are quite cheap, but glue can kind of be a bit of an expense. So I really like this. My dangle, Tracy Fox, did a video on how she makes these, and I know there's a lady, I do mine slightly different, but I know there's a lady who makes these, and I don't want to take away her. Tracy Fox mentions her in her video, and I can't remember the name of her. I'm sorry, my brain's so just broken. But by all means, go find that Tracy Fox video, and she mentions the lady who makes them. Mine is a variation on what Tracy Fox does. Right, so I'm just going to bob a bit of lace down, and I think I've decided I'm having my Journey and my Explore there, and then having, yeah, Collall glue's got the same thing as Fabri-Tac with the little stringy bits. And then I can either have my little stamp in the middle or off to one side. I might have that one in the middle actually. Do them all slightly different. So I'm just going to wallop that one down. And then my Journey, I might, wonder what it would look like. Might get a bit of lace. Stay. I think I've got stringy lace as well. It's got a bit of elastic in it, which generally means it's going to be a bit tricky. And I might do a bit of washi as well. I do like that I've got a really nice it looks like just on its own. I want it to have something else. So if I did like maybe that and that, how would that look? God, this is going to be like the dullest stitch water thing. Watching me fiddle around with bits of paper. But I suppose, actually, I mean, I say that, but I always love watching process videos. I love seeing how people come to their decisions. So maybe I'm just being a bit paranoid. Kind of like that there. Sorry if you can hear tippy tappy claws. I might just leave that as it is, you know. I might just leave it as it is. Sorry if you can hear tippy tappy claws. It's not far away from a kind of time of night when I give my dogs sort of a little, oh God, I can't say it. Whatever I say now, they're going to understand, because I don't know if any of you have got Jack Russells, but their vocabulary is amazing. They learn so many words. They are such clever little dogs. But I normally give them something that they would eat at a certain time of night, because our dogs are free feeders, but they also always have something in the evening that's kind of, just something nice, something that they enjoy, which I can't say, but it's a vegetable. But my dogs really love fruit and vegetables. They're proper little fruit bats. I'm going to try and make a bit washy here. They're proper little fruit bats. Oh, I quite like that. Yeah, proper little fruit bats. And so they're a special thing, if you're thinking like it's something, meaty or whatever. It's really not. It's, really healthy stuff. Oh God, I would put that one upside down. No, I haven't. God, where am I going? There. Yeah, as you can imagine, oh God, that's wobbly. Let's straighten that up, Smith. There we go. Job's a good one. There, or do I quite like that there. Yeah, having these headaches, it's really been a bit dodgy. I've got the doctor either thinks it's, well, I've got to go see a neurologist. I've been having chronic migraine since I was 8 years old, so it's not like it's a new problem, but I have basically had a load of blood tests, and it's potentially, I've certainly got low vitamin D, and I've also got potentially something wrong with my thyroid. But also, I've just had massive amounts of stress going on at the minute. I really have. Just can't go into too much detail, but basically, kind of a county landlord, or no, like an area landlord, basically broke into a garage that my mother owns, and it was the garage where we basically put all of the stuff of like my dad's hobbies, like his wood turning stuff after he died, because it was just all very painful to kind of deal with at the time. And we just shoved it in this garage, and these people, thinking it was their property, broke in, and thinking it was their property, and it was a tenant who hadn't paid. They broke in and emptied it. Literally swept it clean. We knew it wasn't thieves, because clean thieves don't really tidy up after themselves. But they've left, as you can imagine, none of us, my mum, my sister and I, none of us, and my partner and her family, none of us are very happy about it. And so I've just been dealing with all of that stuff. And it's a bit stressy. Right, I've got these. These are from AliExpress. It's like a roll of washi, and they are made of the same stuff as washi, but they're like little individual butterflies. I love them, I have to say. But I'm thinking I might put a butterfly on some of these. I like that. So yeah, if anybody else has migraines, you'll know, a bit of stress, that's not going to help. Apparently perimenopause, that's good for, making you have migraines. So basically, it's just all a British word that begins with a B and ends with KS. It's just all rubbish. Where else do we want? Yeah, it's not the best. Got a purple one. That might go nicely with that one. God, my glasses are awful. Yeah, that's the I've got varifocal glasses, and they're not too bad, but I just, because of the headaches, I'm having a eye test and all of that, I'm definitely going back to normal glasses. They're fine in some respect, but anything sort of, you know, close up, I find so annoying. My glasses are on and off like, you know, you wouldn't believe. I was going to say something that my dad used to say about, you know, certain people's underwear then, but, or maybe not say that. Yeah, I think that's it for the butterflies. I don't think I want to put any more on there. And I quite like that little flash of gold with that crown. So I'm going to leave those there and say we're done. But that's my process. The other thing that occurred to me about doing these is that I don't know if any of you do the same, but if I do any sort of painting or work with my inks and stuff and get it anywhere, if I use tissues, and I normally use this stuff if I've been decoupaging with tissues, I always use like the back sort of 2-ply of those to kind of mop up with. So I've been doing that a lot lately, and my other thought about doing tickets with these would make great backgrounds. You know, if you just had a plain piece of paper and just put down some of these tissues. That was a bit faint. But yeah, if you just put some of these down as like a bottom layer. I've been doing Lorinda decoupage and bits and bobs lately. I've been making a tropical journal, which I'll do a flip through of. But I've been using a lot of these things just to kind of colour pages, and I made up all of my mica sprays the other day, and so, you know, managed to get that everywhere. I think, there you go, that's the tissue I used when I was doing all my mica sprays. Isn't that amazing? It's going to make such a cool layer on something. But yeah, I think something like that would make a great base for tickets. You know, I think if you just covered a piece of paper with all of this stuff and then strip, you know, cut it into strips, I think it would just make the most fabulous base that you could put almost anything on, depending on, you know, whether you use a lot of bright colours or even kind of neutral ones. I think they'd make a great base for them. But yeah, that's my little process video. I'm sorry it's not very long. If you could see the Heath Robinson setup I've got my phone plugged in because it hardly had any battery on it, and that's plugged into my computer, which has got hardly any battery in it, which is then plugged into the mains. It's a shocker. It's a shocker. But yeah, that's my tutorial. I've decided this coming month I am going to try and do, rather than, you know, really focusing on a big journal, I'm going to make some little ones this month and try and kind of do it, you know, do more videos and do more bits and bobs like this rather than getting involved in a big project. The other thing I was going to say is that when you, sorry, as I said, bad brain, but when you dry your little stamps, I would really put them out onto a side to dry normally, or, you know, before you chop them up, put the spray on and then dry that sheet. Don't try and dry them individually because they're just going to go everywhere. And yeah, migraine, slightly brain dead lady tried to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll just be picking them out of, you know, your skirting boards forever. So just don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, that's my video. Sorry, I am, you know, a bit of a fruitcake today. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.